Is it running yet? Well, it should be. Let's see. Apologize if you're watching and not seeing anything, but I'm trying to make sure that this is set up right and it's not cooperating. Just trying to make sure it's actually broadcasting before I do anything else. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So as you may remember from time on out, working on trying to turn this into something. Haven't broken it yet. Still don't really know what I'm doing. But I've been making progress, learned some things, and I'm interested to try them out on this. So I'll get started on that, and we'll see where it goes. Take this off so I don't injure myself by getting glass under it. And then let's see. Not really sure where it starts, so I'm just gonna jump right in and see where it goes. It's not acting how I would like it to. He's too big, trying something like that. Trying to find a good close spot to take some material off of, but none of them really cooperating with me. There we go. And that has the glass. Wonderful. Well, that'll give me a chance to do the new thing I learned at least. So, when it's split like this, I can apparently just work along the edges and get a pretty good platform that way. So I'm going to try that here. And I've got birds throwing bird seed at me, so I guess they don't like me doing my thing here. It's kind of working. Give it a couple more and see where it goes. Didn't like the sound of that. Alright, okay, look in the row. It's not great. Not terrible, I suppose. So I'll go back across it and see if it is up any. No, probably scrape it. Before I go further. Since I couldn't get a grip on it, so give that a try. Something like that.
Apologies on that narration there, but my neighbor decided to come out and wander around upstairs on the balcony, so I wasn't talking for a minute. But sounds like they've gone back inside.
And here we are. Got a pretty okay. I don't really have this line here. This one's pretty nice. I don't see any shells on it. This one has a lot of these. Yeah, you can see it on the video here. How much cliff there is on the edge of that compared to this where it's all smooth transition pretty much. Don't really know how to fix that, but I'm gonna see if I can get work done on this edge here and how jacked up it is. And we'll go from there. Doesn't look like I'm going to make any progress unless I just start knocking pieces off the edge to get a shelf I can work on. So I'm going to push inwards instead of downwards and see if I can turn this into an actual edge instead of this crap. I do knock out some flakes along the way. That's accidental, but not a bad thing. Alright, so much better already. Get one more on the corner here. Alright. Let's get up my nice stone. If I can find it. There we go. And do a little. Oh, that's not the way. I wanna scrape it this way. So I can get a nice shelf here to work from. Because all this is still. And I apologize for the focus issue. Not much I can do about it with this webcam. Unfortunately. So we got a shelf there. Gonna try and bust some of this face off of here. Oh wow. That felt pretty good. Doesn't look as good as it felt, but not getting any purchase there. Looks like it. Yeah. Something I'm doing is making a lot of those little ledges. I don't know what. Maybe I'm pushing too hard. Wrong angle. I really don't know. Just keep going around, see where we end up. That's actually looking really good. That's driving a lot deeper than I was before. And a nicer looking flakes. I think spacing them out like this is really helping. Because previously I haven't spaced them out nearly as much as these guys are. So maybe that's what's helping me out here. We'll see. Alright, Alright, I'm gonna go. I guess back across, try to hit elbows. Little saw teeth. See if I can't drive some of these ridge lines the rest of the way across. All the way to halfway across rather. Let's see where am I starting right here. That didn't sound productive. And it wasn't. Okay. Getting a little here in the middle. If I can get this crap off of here. But it's not cooperating. Still, that's more than halfway. Just about halfway. So that's an improvement. And the whole thing seems a lot neater. So gonna keep going. Gonna have to grind it a little bit to get the line back up where I want it. But all in all, I'd say this has been a tremendous success. That grinding noise is not something you want to hear. I think I might actually come out and see if I can finish taking this back off before I do everything else because it's looking pretty good. That. I don't want to overwork it and screw it up. At least not until I've screwed up this part. That was a joke. Alright. Check my phone real quick. Alright. And let's go across. I wonder if I should. Oh well, if this doesn't work, I'll try something. I'll try doing the same thing I did, pushing inwards to set up an edge on this. But if this works, I won't need to do that. I will. However, be able to set up. I'll be able to do that same thing I did where I use farther apart than I have been. Oh yeah, that's actually working really well. Just short the meeting, which is apparently a desirable thing. Don't know why. That's what about when they're driving flakes. So that was not a good flake. Oh, sweet. There we go. Right across. Get this damn thing to focus. That must be really annoying, and I apologize. See, right here, we've got our flakes meeting up in the middle. So I must be doing something right. I'll have to look into seeing if there's a way I can disable this autofocus, because this is actually watching this struggle to focus that hard is just embarrassing. Undercuts. That's what that's called. Undercuts. I remember now. That was a huge chunk we managed to go out there. Pretty great.
Oh, this camera's constantly focusing. You know what? Let me see if I can disable that from here. I've gotta have somewhere to do it. Properties. All right. Doesn't look like I've got there. Come on, where's my manual focus? There we turn off autofocus, and let's see what we got. Let it focus here. Ish. All right. Let's see if that's any better. Not great for there. Seems to work for this. Get some of the glass powder off, and yeah. Maybe just a tiny bit. Yeah, that should work. I'm still pretty new to all this AV nonsense. So maybe I need to hire somebody to edit my videos for less than minimum wage. Yep, this is looking really good. And it's staying focused while I show it off. So that's huge upgrade. You may ask why this. I'm not worried about sharpening this yet. Obviously, we're gonna have to grind a bunch of this off anyway. This side. When we're finished on this side. So. Don't worry about the quality of the edge until we get down really close to finishing. One thing I really don't like is this line of undercuts down the center. But that's not something I can do anything about right now. So we're gonna ignore it. That's how we chase success. Denial is the best way to deal with problems. Especially when you're working with broken glass. Really shouldn't be tried directly into my fingers, but here we are. Yeah, I gotta remember to smooth off these points before driving them into my hand. It's another valuable lesson I've learned today. It looks like honestly, this whole row looks really good to me. So I'm happy with that. That's a refreshing. The only spot left with any of the original backing is right here. See that little smooth area? And I can probably blow that off honestly, but we'll see if it comes off on its own. In the meantime, let's see. What do I want to do? I think I'll go back and work off the tips on this side, just to get a little bit better edge profile. This is really up and down. And then we'll be able to work on this face. I think that'll work pretty well. Not trying to drive very hard, just trying to raise the edge here, away from the side we're working on, and even it out a little bit. Although if we can clean some of this crap off the back, it looks like we're doing that. That is not a bad thing. Oh, that felt pretty big. Let's see what we got. Nice big flake all across there. Kind of love that. This is starting to look like a tooth or something. We'll see how the shape changes, and of course break it like last time, and the time before that. But am loving the shape. Alright, gonna take off a couple on this side, I think. Do not want to hear that grinding sound because I did not properly grind this before I started just now, but I refuse to learn my lesson and will continue to make mistakes on purpose. Like driving glass into my palm. Alright, I think that's it for this side. So, let's raise the edge. That looks pretty good. Raise this edge too. Maybe try to shape more like pool. Since we'll have to be shaped like one eventually. And then I guess this has to go the same direction. All right. So let's get going on the reverse side. Maybe start on this side. So I've got a little bit less glass going at first. Repeat my previous success and space these out a little bit from each other. Leaving me some shelves to work from. These are not going to be very impressive on the first go because I am working with an overhang here. So I'm mostly cleaning that off before I can even start flaking towards the center. Let's see. Is that working? Yes. Okay. Checking my stream software. Alright, where was I? Completely lost my place. Must have been right there. Sounds like I blew a lot off the back with that. Yeah, I think that one went all the way across. Oh, I've got some nice sunlight in here now too. Hooray for adequate lighting. Alright. With that success. I think I'm going to go back across and get all these high points. Somewhat less successful on that end, but that's complete failure is no reason to stop. Pretty sure I read that somewhere. Still getting tons of undercuts. But we completely cleaned off the ridge from the rim of the ashtray or whatever that was here before. So it was here before. Progress. And I haven't snapped it in half yet. Looks like I probably will if I'm not careful though, since that is kind of a habit I have. All right, well, Alright, well, not great, not terrible. Not great, not terrible. Just gotta grind it back and grind it back and keep going, I guess. Well, I should also do the far side. Okay. Let's go across here. If we can take off some of those undercuts before we get back into that side. That felt like a big one. Yep. I think a couple of times across here, and there we go. Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Well, let's see how much of this is salvageable. Maybe switch to a harder piece of leather. So that may legitimately be too soft. All right. So what I'm thinking. Let's see. Might be able to make a pretty good. Just a point. Just make this point. Make this the point. Make this the back end. Sort of a diamond pattern. Just gotta rough it up a little first. And then, I guess keep going. Not much else to do. This is a part of the process. Breaking stuff and having to figure out what you can make it into instead. And not just because I'm an amateur. This is something the natives and the cavemen and all of that do as well. Plenty of evidence of this thing going on at Paleolithic sites. Now you can see there's sort of a zigzag there. That's ideal from what I'm going to try and keep that going. Fortunately, it looks like we're pretty close to removing the face on both sides. It only got a little bit left after all of that drama there. So I'm gonna go. Let's see. Back across here. Destroying my beautiful zigzag. Go back across from the other side. Not much of a zigzag anymore, but I don't have anything to add to that. Alright, let's see where we're at. So I need to come in from this side. This whole thing needs a bit of work. This whole thing only needs really work. Everything else is pretty good. I just need to do shaping. So I think I'm gonna come in from here, work that side, and then maybe try to trim down this side, and blow off some of this. I feel like that should be a strategy. But I don't know. Alright, well that's working. Very little of this left. See if I can get an angle you can actually see it. Yeah, there it is. Not much of that left. And we can start shaping the tip as well.
And we managed to snap it again. Not much I can salvage from that. I don't think. Well, grip, I guess. What brings us to this? Echoing, huh? Let's see. I think. Let's see if I can get my microphone settings to not be echoey. Not looking good from here. Alright, is that any better? I really can't check my own audio from here. I wish I knew how to configure this stuff. Properly. Let's see. Maybe these settings. Well, damn. I wonder if it's its location. Because I do have the microphone in a different place. But the settings on this are so obtuse. What about... Nope, that's not helping. I wonder if it's just because I'm using this terrible laptop. It's got to have some kind of settings here. Okay, what if I remove this? There we go. I found the problem. Let's remove this. How about now? Is that any better? It looks like it was picking up audio from both the camera and the desktop, even though it's never done that before. So, in summary, here's what we've accomplished so far. It was looking very nice until I snapped it in half, and I'm not entirely sure why, but that happens. And just gotta keep going. I might be able to make a really tiny arrowhead out of one of these, but that's going to be meticulous, not very interesting to watch. So, I'm going to take this other piece of red glass I've got and keep going. And I've got a new technique for dealing with flat edges that I was not using before, so I'm going to see if I can get that. These rounded edges, though, are still going to be an issue, and that might really be crippling. So, we'll see. I apologize for the echo, but that's why you guys need to watch my stream, tune into my stream earlier, so you can tell me things like that. Alright, well, let's see if we can get something out of this image before we start. Not looking promising. And it's also very loud. But it's potentially something. Probably going to have to go over that with a hammer. Alright. Let's get some flakes off of here. Looking good so far. I suppose it will also help if I'd given any more warning. This is kind of cool. The Goodwill sticker is obscuring how much that flake took off, but it's not bad. That's not rough enough. Still not rough enough. There we go, got a flake off of that. Looks pretty good. Making progress. These charged glass are really good at finding their way into my knuckles. I'm gonna have to switch tools soon though, because this one's about to give me a pretty gnarly blister. May already have done so. Gotta figure out a way to put some kind of softer handle on these, because this is not ideal. Alright, let's try this one. I always like the look of this one. For anyone that doesn't know, I inherited, well, inherited is the wrong word, but well, maybe not. I acquired these tools from the estate of a very talented flint knapper who is no longer flint knapping, and they are extremely nice, and I'm just hoping that I can keep them going and maintain, just give them a good home where they'll continue to be useful, because I really believe in keeping old tools working. So that's the reason why I have so many specialized tools and don't necessarily know how to use them all. But let's keep going. Too much talking and not enough flint knapping. It's got to be boring to watch. Let's see if we can get some action out of this. I am so glad I had my glove on for that. That broke much deeper than I expected it to, and would have cut my hand quite badly. This freshly sharpened nail is running very well. Still a lot of undercutting, but we'll get there. Maybe I'm not. Try a slightly different angle, see if that helps. Yeah, that helps a little bit. Take some of the pressure off my knuckle as well. Finger joint, whatever you want to call it. Lost my grindstone, but I can grab that in a minute. Not accomplishing much on this corner here, although it looks like it did blow off a little flake. Alright, so, I'm going to see if I can do anything with this. Probably not. And in that case, I will break out one of my hammers and just give myself some broken glass to work with. Yeah, that's not going to do anything. Alright, where is a hammer? I quite like this one. It's clearly very well used, very useful tool. So let's put it to use, I guess. Now, last time when I did this, I spent a lot of time breaking this into smaller pieces because I am not as accurate or as good at controlling the force of my impacts as I would like to be. There we go. Although honestly, I don't think that's a bad result. That's plenty of material to work with. That is less optimal, but still might be able to make something out of that. But let's put that aside for now and go back to this bigger piece. Remember, if something you're doing isn't working, just do it harder. See if I can nibble some off without snapping it as much. A little better. Alright, I think that sort of worked itself into a corner, but it's taken off some pretty nice flakes. Gonna try coming in from this side and maybe be able to work my way a little bit farther. Maybe I can even zigzag this. If I can get this spot to fracture, which it doesn't seem inclined to do. I mean, I guess that works. Set that aside. Percussion flaking is hard, by the way. Maybe I'm just hitting it too hard because I'm a gorilla. Maybe there's a gentler approach. Or maybe I could just break it again. Well, that was semi-productive. I mean, they're all shaped like arrowheads, but I'm not sure that that's really what I was going for.
take the biggest one and see if we can sharpen it up a little bit and call that a success. If I break it in half again, I might give up on this material completely, at least for now. See if we can take some of this off from the side. I know I should be abrading it, but my rock is all the way over there, and who's got time for that? Doing things correctly. Alright. Do wish I hadn't slacked off on my practice here so much, but I have been working pretty rough hours the last month and not had much energy to do something this involved and messy on the weekends, so been pretty out of it lately. That's a nice line of flakes. Started out pretty poor, but you can see it just incremented in height as we went, and got to a nice high spot and set there. So I'm going to go across these spikes again, see if we can get a little more distance if I come in from the opposite side. I really like this new technique. I don't know if it's a correct technique. I don't know if it's got a name, because I haven't seen it in my admittedly very limited research, but it's working very well for me for dealing with flat, broken edges. Alright. Didn't manage to do anything up in this corner, but everything else is looking pretty good. So let's give the opposite side some nibbles. And broke off a tip again. Wonderful. This glass might just be kind of dog water, but I'm sure it's a valuable experience. It's a nice line of flakes until it just stopped breaking off properly, so let's come in from the other side, see if we can meet up with those. Gonna try being a little less forceful, because these seem to be lifting off quite nicely, if I give them the chance to do so. Alright, and we got all the way across that. This huge lump of nonsense is still here, but otherwise, this looks pretty good. Gonna knock off some high spot, or low spots, high spots. Gonna knock off some spots. Don't care if they really go in any distance. Just trying to
even up the edge a little bit. Didn't work out how I hoped, but that's fine. This is fine. Start actually producing an edge here. Alright, got one jagged, nasty chunk there. Everything else is coming along nicely. Side is completely okay, except for maybe this spot. And the rest of it needs to come in this direction. This side I haven't actually worked properly yet. This is going to come out pretty small in the end, I think. Got neighbors pulling up, so I may be quiet for a minute, as I am terribly shy. Looking pretty darn good. This is not a favorable angle to work from, so I will make it one. By eroding this edge with downward strokes that are not meant to drive flakes, just to raise the edge up to the point where I can work with it. Well, I will drive some flakes on this back piece here where it's really thick. Or at least try to if I can get the darn thing situated. No, that's not going to work. That was a nice flake. That's very nearly removed it on this side. So that's a good start. The rest of it's looking very nice. You can see where it gets yellower. That's a nice thin edge on this side. Tip's still a problem, but we'll worry about that later. No sense in putting a lot of work into the tip if I'm just going to break it off again in a couple of minutes. So let's not even maybe I need to flip this over. Not liking those grinding noises, but it looks like it's working. Might be the point where I have to take off the gloves to get... Oh, there we go. Broke it again. Awesome. Okay.
well, what else do I have? Got this cool beer bottle. Let's give that a go. One of the really cool things about flint knapping is all you really need, ultimately, is a rock, a nice coarse rock you can grind glass on, and a stick with a nail in it, and some broken glass. Fortunately, I don't have to start at that level, but just because I lucked into some equipment. But despite me being not very good at it yet, it is, in theory, something pretty much anybody can do. Trying to get enough of this lip around the inside off that I can actually work on this. And then from there we'll just see how it breaks when I try to work on it, I guess. One more go around and then switch to pressure flaking. That might be enough. Let's find out. Then drop my hammer. Although I will say it's very important to do this outside and with good ventilation. Otherwise you'll breathe a lot of glass dust. That's not really ideal. Alright. Gonna try to knock off that bottom lip, and I guess wherever, most of the low edge is up on the top here. Alright, I guess I'll work that first. Should get some pretty impressive flakes off of this, just because it's at such a favorable angle. The bottom is not gonna be nearly as cooperative. But if I can get this side done and then switch to the bottom, I'll be happy.
most disastrous. Let's come at that from the side then. That's not cooperating. Gotta grind it some more. So that the nail will catch somewhere. There we go. Good enough. Maybe see if I can take off this ledge while I'm here. Anytime you're having trouble taking a flake off, it's probably because you haven't ground enough. That is an important thing I have learned and do actually listen to. Let's see, that's coming along nicely. Doesn't look like we're going to get it all the way across in one go, but wasn't really expecting to. That's not cooperating. Let's move over a bit. Try and work our way around from the other side rather than continuing to stress a point that clearly is not interested in cooperating. Don't know why it keeps slipping through my hand like that. Side doesn't seem inclined to cooperate either. We got a little bit of a flake off there. Maybe that'll be enough to keep working it around. No, I think the angle just on this edge, I think the angle is just too unfavorable to keep working that, but got most of the way around, honestly. Maybe there's a little platform there I can use. Yeah. There we go. Technically, that's all the way around, right? Right there. Completed the loop. Sort of. And there's that troublesome spot. Completely gone. I suppose I haven't quite completed the loop because there's a little bit of stuff over here, but we'll get there. If I can't knock it off here, I'll just work on the bottom for a while. Yeah, that'll do. Honestly, I'd say that's pretty good. Granted, the top side light here is extremely favorable for this kind of work. The bottom is going to be a slog any way we slice it. So let me get my glove back on. Let's see. drive the edge towards this side. Probably would go better if I wasn't gripping that. This is another technique I don't think I've invented, but seems to work. Using the grindstone as a percussion instrument. Tears hell out of the edge, but it's quite good at gripping. That does not want to cooperate, so I'm going to force it to cooperate and break something. Nice. Man, I'm good at this. Putting a little bit of leather on that to give my hands some more protection from blistering. Well, I mean, we got the flakes all the way across, at least. That's something. I have to be extra careful, because this is largely unsupported here, and too much force will snap it very easily. Again. So I'm trying to get it with more of a lifting motion and less of a thrusting motion. I'm trying to sort of twist off pieces. That's the theory, anyway. I don't think it's working well, but that's the theory. Thought I snapped it for a second there. And we've nearly got the curve on that side off. This is going to be a little bit harder though, but no time like the present. Pretty disappointed about that red glass though. I really like how it turns such a lovely yellow color when it gets really thin. Makes a wonderful two-tone deal. Alright, let's see where we're at. About halfway there. Now we just gotta deal with this thing that broke it in half in the first place. And we'll have a mostly workable piece of glass. I'm gonna switch tools again because that one is really biting into my hand. That was not a graceful maneuver. Sort of making progress. Should have ground it before I came back in, but I forgot. What can I say? That actually is looking really nice. It's very nearly flat now, so it's just going to be a matter of working it until it looks sort of like this. But it's starting to look good. Now I just got to break it again. Gonna take off some of these if I can to give me a cleaner edge to work from on this side. I don't think that's coming off though, so let me nibble at it a little bit, see if I can drive it upwards so I can thin out that section. Yeah, there we go. See, that's kind of terrible for driving flakes. They're very shallow, but it raises this edge up towards this side so that I can take off some of this hump here. I don't think I took enough off. Not worried about shape yet, obviously. Looking at the damn thing, but mostly interested in getting thinning it down to the point where we can actually start to turn it into a tool. And that edge is a bit wavy. I think that's okay though. I'm going to bring the edge up towards this side, up towards the bottom here. Oh, I completely forgot about this side. Well, I'll get to that, because this outer edge is a lot more important right now. I got to bring my center line up near that edge so I can knock off more of this stuff. That's something you always got to be aware of when you're braiding, is you'll move the center line around a lot if you're a braid at a right angle. If you're a braid across, not so much. So just by carefully thinking about how you're going to approach the abrasion process, you could potentially make quite a bit of progress towards the center line you want along the way.
I do still have 3 pieces of that red glass, which I'll work on at some point, but that point is not right now, because I'm sick to death of it. So, got a pretty good ridge line here. This spot here is sticking way far up in the other direction, so I'm going to knock that off and bring the center line closer. Going to try to knock that off. It's not cooperating, so I'm going to give up, because I do not want to snap this in half. I'm just going around looking for places that are higher and knocking them down a peg. I think that looks pretty good aside from this. Maybe one more try, he said, snapping it in half. Oh, that flake actually ran almost all the way across the whole surface. You can't really see it, but that was a very nice flake that didn't even break it in half this time. Alright, just gonna go around the edge and see what I can get set up. Hi, Stitch, no. Stitch, come here. Hey. Hi. Please don't step in the broken glass. Okay, that's enough. That's good. Get back. Get back. Good dog. Anyway, where was I? Not really looking too hard at what I'm doing here, just trying to work my way around and take some of the curvature out. Any place I can't get directly, I try to work on either side of it, isolate it a little bit like this. Can't really see that with this dark glass, but once you isolate it, it should flake a lot better. And it should also run farther. Gonna skip that high spot. Alright, let's see where we're at. Getting some flakes over the circle on the bottle. That's really good. That means we're very nearly flat here. I think if I start coming in from the other side, this whole thing will even out quite nicely. Still got a little more than I'd like right here, but everywhere else is looking really good, and I'm very optimistic at this point. I do have to be extra careful here because this middle section is unsupported by my leather, and that means it is very easy to break it, as we have repeatedly discovered. So I gotta be really careful not to overstress it. Try to pull flakes off rather than necessarily putting a lot of stress on the... Oh, there we go. We're already going all the way across on the end. Very cool. That's what I really like about working on a flat surface like this face here. It's pretty impressive how far you can drive a flake on this. Oh. Looking good. Not quite meeting up anymore, but that's not unexpected as it gets wider. And with me trying to be a little more careful about where I snap. Got a lot of undercut there because I'm changing, partly because it's a convex surface, mostly because it's a convex surface, probably also because I've changed my angle to try not to break it. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. So a little bit left right here. We'll get that off from here and coming in from this side. That's the area I wasn't happy about before. But honestly, at this point, we're 80% of the way there. Alright, how will I approach that? It looks like I'm going to need to rough up this area, knock it in this direction with the grinder, and then come in from there. I don't know what kind of tool this is going to be yet. That's part of the fun of flint knapping, is you never know exactly what you're going to make. At least I assume that's a fun and intentional part of this process. If it's not, then I'm doing something really wrong. But I'm having fun. Oh, this has been an hour and a half already. I was not expecting to have that much stamina today. At some point, I need to get somebody who knows how to edit videos to put together, like, time-lapse, edited copies, videos that don't have equipment issues for 45 minutes at a time. But I do not have a video editor. I have a webcam and a laptop and a piece of antler with a copper nail in it, and I don't see that changing in the immediate future. Oh, that was terrifying. Felt like I was about to snap it in half, so I eased up and ended up not snapping it in half this time. So maybe I am learning something today. Gonna take a little bit more flake off here. See if I can't fix up this side. There we go. This is the only spot of the original backing left. Everything else is successfully knapped. There is still some curve to it, but that's okay. I don't think cavemen were going over their flint tools with a laser level looking for imperfections. Just looking for sharp blade that would do the job for long enough to be worth making it. Really, what more could you ask for? I'm kind of wanting to make a little knife, and if this continues to not snap in half, it's a pretty good candidate for that purpose. Doesn't look like I can trim any more off of here without going back to this side, so let's do that now. Got all these wonderful high peaks that I can work off of, so we're just gonna snap those off and see where that leads us. Almost like I set myself up for success there. It's starting to seem like I kind of know what I'm doing, he said, snapping it in half again. Alright, let's see. Yep, that's gone probably 2/3 of the way across the face. Pretty good, pretty good. Still got a bit of a flat edge here I need to work on, but I think we all know that's going to go down on this concave side. So let's do some grinding. I think that might be taking off the flat sides. That's nice. Giving us a little bit more of a shape. Besides some amorphous bean creature. Alright, I think that's enough grinding. Nope, need some across here. Alright, so fingers crossed I don't destroy it in the home stretch again. Now let's get knapping. I'm going to start from this corner because it's easily accessible. And probably the lowest point right now. Lifting off some very nice flakes. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Even if you can't tell what's going on there. I can see the new ones and they are looking mighty fine. Oh, that one's not looking mighty fine. That one's looking adequate. Getting down to the point where I might need to take my gloves off to continue operating with any precision. Let's see where we're... Oh, that's looking good. That's looking good. Obviously, I'm the most concerned about this corner because that spot we've got left to take off is still underneath there somewhere. So I'm going to have to try to drive flakes long. Oh, that felt nice. That felt good. And we did it. It's gone. No flat surfaces. Only napped surfaces. Hell yeah. So at this point, all I've got left to do, now that the thinning is pretty much complete, is to try and shape this into something and clean up the edge. Come on. It does still have a bit of a curve to it, which I'm trying to remove as well, but now that I have a better idea of how to manipulate this without snapping it in half, I'm making a lot more progress. Alright, so this is telling me it wants to be a knife. And I am extremely tempted to turn it into a nice thin arrowhead instead. But I think I will not do that because the last time something told me it wanted to be a scraper and I ignored that, I snapped it twice immediately. So, in deference to the desire of the material, I'm going to clean this edge up a little bit because I don't like how curved it is. And then see if I can sharpen the front of this and make myself a knife blade. Maybe I'll sharpen this edge too. No reason not to. See, I'm lifting flakes off with the corner of the tool. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but I can see it.
Right now I'm just taking targets of opportunity, any place that looks like a good platform. I'm just popping off a flake, trying to get this line straight from this side. I don't care if it's straight from this side. This is still the thickest, gnarliest part, with the most curve to it. So I'm working it down. That one looks like I got a few nice targets here. Again, almost like I set myself up for success. Took off a really nasty ledge there. Suddenly can't remember the word that I remembered earlier for what they're called. Probably should have ground this down again before I started going back around. But if there's one thing I haven't learned, it's to do things properly the first time, instead of snapping my projects in half. Honestly, I think that's just about finished. There's still a little bit of asymmetry down here at the base of the blade, but honestly, I do not care. I'm going to shape up this area a little bit to make a better cutting surface, and then we are done. Just gotta sharpen. Partially shaping it with the grindstone, of course. Trying to get a nice, smooth, transitional edge there. And I am sharpening it in the wrong direction because I wanted to take off some of this garbage. Whoops. Gonna do the same across here. Help make that more of a rounded edge. I like that profile. Gonna push the center line on this back edge up here. Gonna push it down here and up again here, so I can try to get those last high spots off. Pretty much just got to go around it one more time and then it's on to serration, if I want to do that. Get that high middle section while I'm over here that I set up while I was grinding the flat edge. While I'm here, I'll finish the edge on this side up here at the top. Now, what we really don't want to hear here is that grinding noise, because that means we're just grinding the edge instead of flaking anything.
think I can make this a little bit sharper here. Okay, that needs some work, but got it sharpened on one side, mostly. Gonna grind it a little bit and then go back across in the reverse direction. Don't want to grind it too much. Then once I'm done with this side, I'll switch to the far side. Just want to take very small flakes to remove some of that ground edge. Oh, I'm flaking from the wrong side like a moron. Oh well. No one will notice. That is a sweet looking edge. Look at that. It's all serrated and gnarly. It does have a bit of a cliff in it, but we'll smooth that out when I come back and do it in the opposite direction. But I don't want to screw it up anymore before I work on the rest of the blade itself. Pretty soon I'm going to have to decide which end is the tip and which end will attach to a handle. Trying not to pull this up so close to my face so I can see what I'm doing that you can't see what I'm doing. And it is a struggle. Alright, I'm going to switch tools here. I've got this wonderful little carbide tip piece that is much better suited to this kind of precision work. And I'm going to take off my gloves so I can actually do precision work. Don't see a blister yet, so fingers crossed. Let's get out the smaller pad as well. Alright, so let's take stock and see exactly what we need to do here. The shape is pretty good. If I took off a little bit of this edge and slanted the tip a little bit, this would be a marvelous arrowhead. But like I said, I'm going to listen to the material and try to make it a knife. You can see it's pretty thick up here. I think if I take some material off in this direction, let's see if I can get that better lit. Nope, not really. Okay. Well, if I can't show you what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do it. It is important to plan what you do and not just go around knocking bits off willy-nilly. That said, just cover that up so I don't get censored by YouTube for gore and violence. I would cut myself as soon as I take my gloves off, wouldn't I? Gonna neaten up the tip a little bit. Looking pretty good. It is turned considerably thicker than it should be, honestly. My thinning kind of really fell down the hole these last few times around, and I haven't been paying good attention to it because I'm working from the center line, which is in the center right now and not on either edge, so that's why that's happening. But whatever. Maybe I can do a little bit of that from back here while I'm sharpening this. Well, that's not turning out well at all. Oh well. Well, I think I've done just about as much damage to this as I can. So, let's work on the base a little bit. This looks like a good place to start on a notch, but I think I'm going to start it a little farther back. Notches are extremely difficult, and I won't pretend to know much about making them. I'm pretty satisfied with that, though. Let's get one on the back. Well, that's good enough. Just got to clean up the bottom piece a little bit. Honestly, I'm not completely embarrassed by this. It's probably the biggest piece I've managed to complete so far without snapping it. And the edge on the back isn't great, but the edge on the front is sharp. You could hurt yourself on this. Maybe I'll take a tiny flake off the tip just to sharpen that a little bit. I'm grinding it, not sharpening it. Tiny flake. Gotta get one more. Tiny flake. And here we go again. There we go. Just neaten that a little bit. There, yeah, so definitely the biggest piece I've made so far. Pretty thoroughly happy with it. Might clean up this gouge in the edge, might not. I don't think it matters that much. But I'll see how this does. That chopping vegetables is a little bit curved. But honestly, I don't think you'd notice that on a knife. And I'm pretty thoroughly happy with it. Something like this would be mounted pretty much just in a piece of antler. Or wood. Just like this. Just gotta carve a notch in it and set this in there, wrap some sinew around it, and you've got yourself a pretty serviceable knife. Let's see if I can get it lined up so it looks good on the camera. Yeah. So, something like that. I'll see if I can make a video where I actually do that. I'm really tempted to just put it in a piece of wood right now, but I don't have one handy. So, I guess I won't. All I've got handy is this piece of a coyote jawbone, and that's not really going to make a very good handle, I don't think. So, not going to use that. Also, the teeth are falling out. Anyway, thanks for showing up. Sorry about the hiatus. Unannounced, unintentional. And I'll be back. I'll see if I can come back next weekend. Maybe I'll do some stuff. Maybe I'll try and put a handle on this tomorrow. We'll see. But